Hi guys, Noelle T-Rex here. I had promised you guys a follow-up video to my Unitarian Universalist video about my personal beliefs as an atheist and why an atheist would join a Unitarian Universalist religion. So the thing that I always tell people is that I am religious and not spiritual. I know you usually hear people say the opposite of that. They usually say I'm spiritual but not religious. I enjoy the community aspect and the shared learning and education aspect of religion, while I don't necessarily feel the same spirituality the way that other people do. So, first of all, how I came to be an atheist, I guess that's the first question to answer in all of this. And my own personal story is that I was never really a member of a church growing up. My parents are actually Christian and did try to bring me to several different churches. And even as a small child, I found it very hard to believe in any of the stories or any of the mythology and stuff that came along with most of the religious views and religious texts. So I have a very specific memory that I tell people about. When I was in kindergarten, I remember being on the bus, and this little girl in front of me turned around and popped her head up over the seat, and she was like, "Do you believe in God?" And I remember very vividly, as a 5-year-old, telling this little girl, no, I don't. And one of my first memories at this time was of her telling me, this little blonde girl on the bus, leaning over the seat and telling me, "You're going to go to hell." And I very specifically remember that. I remember thinking that there was an innate wrongness to what she had said. And I've always carried that story with me. It somehow became ingrained in my mind, like as a part of, why I don't participate in spirituality, I guess. I don't understand why anyone would want to tell anyone else that they're wrong. Why anyone would want to look at someone else's journey and say, your viewpoint and your perspective aren't valid. So that's probably one of my biggest issues with most religion and most spirituality, is that I feel like it's a very personal thing. I came to my conclusions, the way that I came to my conclusions, and I respect other people's beliefs, and I'd like to have mine respected as well, I guess. My journey growing up, I always wanted to be a part of a church because I saw that community, and I saw these people getting together, and, they were like-minded people with the same values, and they wanted to get together and do good works and talk about their thoughts and their experiences. So I tried to be a member of a lot of different churches. I've probably visited every religious sect that you can find in or around, Louisiana, which I know isn't probably as much as other places, but, I visited the synagogue, I visited the Buddhist temple, I visited all different sects of Christianity. I visited a Quaker church. I looked into a lot of different religions, and none of them fit. Growing up, everyone I grew up with was Catholic in the area that I grew up, so I tried very, very desperately to be Catholic because I wanted to be friends with these guys, but it didn't work out. It wasn't something I could really get on board with. I tried to tell them that I believed in what they believed, but in my heart it was never true. So for me, I found the Unitarian Universalist Church in college. I actually had a really amazing biology teacher my freshman year of college, who was this kind of free spirit, hippy-dippy sort of woman, and she recommended, I guess she saw some sort of kindred interest there with me, she recommended that I try out the Unitarian Church. And the funny thing is that I didn't go. About 4 years later, around the time that I was graduating from college, I actually first went to the Unitarian Church. Just remembering what she had said and thinking about communities and getting older and wanting to, have some friends who were kindred spirits and who kind of believed the same way that I believed. And I remember what this woman said 4 years ago for some reason. And I looked it up, and I went to the church, you know, on my own, and I was really surprised by how welcoming they were. I've been to other churches where, you know, new members are people are kind of skeptical of them. They're like, oh, I don't know, we haven't seen you around here before. But at the Unitarian Church, they're very open and welcoming, and they were like, oh, do you believe in God? And I was like, I don't know. And they were like, hey, this is a great place for you. And I was like, really? Awesome. Perfect. So it's really become this amazing community for me where I meet people who are similar to me, with similar backgrounds, similar interests. We have a lot of college-educated people at the church that I go to for some reason. And I'm not sure if it's just because of the continued adult education, but I love it. We're all about continued learning and, you know, reaching out to people of other religions and asking them to come speak at the church. Recently, they had some Mormons come and do a Q&A at the church. That was really, really interesting. I remember about this time last year, there was a whole like month on religious naturalism, which I had never heard of before, and that was really, really interesting. I've learned about a lot of different types of religions that I never knew existed, and I don't know, it's a continued learning process, and that's part of the reason I go. It feeds that sort of student, like forever student in me, you know? Also, I've made a lot of really amazing friends at my church, as I imagine that most people who have gone to any kind of a church would tell you. The people there, you just see something in each other that's very, very similar and easy to relate to and easy to connect with. So I've got a lot of friends out of the church that I go to. So for me, it's really about, you know, like minds and openness and a willingness to learn and realizing that we don't have all the that we don't have all the answers, but that sometimes life can be about the questions, and that's okay. So that's why I go to the church that I go to. It's inspiring. It's a place to meditate. It's a community of support. We do a lot of public outreach. There's a lot of, especially in the LGBTQ community, we do a lot of outreach and a lot of social activism, and I'm really interested in that. So this is why I go to the Unitarian Church, even though I am an atheist. They never push any beliefs on you. They respect you, and they just want to include you in the conversation about religion and spirituality in general. So that's the long and short of it. My name is Noelle T-Rex, and if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. And I'm very open to suggestions for new videos. Please leave any comments or suggestions below. Thanks. Bye.